You guys were probably looking at the thumbnail of this video for a bit prior to clicking, and thought, I've seen this before. You're not inherently wrong, so I can't blame you for thinking that. This is a return to these series in a way you guys have long requested. We're going to look at the top 10 strongest Pokemon of every type, but without legendary Pokemon included. We're starting off today with the Dragon typing, which is perhaps most affected by this change. I also have some other parameters. See, I made my last set of lists prior to the full DLC being put out for Sword and Shield, so there's even more Pokemon that are in the 8th generation now. I am looking at Pokemon available in Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, since competitive battling is a thing that can happen in those games. I'll inevitably have to return to this series in a few years probably, when we're deep in the Gen 9 and Univin remakes are running around. So hopefully then, I'll actually be able to take into account Hisuian forms and evolutions. So there are still Pokemon that never found their way into the 8th generation, and there will be some that don't appear in the 9th. But for today, hopefully you guys understand the parameters. However, before we get into this new series officially, I want to say thank you to our sponsor today. Audible is once again giving me the pleasure of promoting their tremendous product. Audible, just in case you didn't know, is a service provided by Amazon, which has spent many years becoming the top option in audiobooks and spoken word content. From recently released books to absolute classics, their service offers something for everyone with a pair of ears and a desire to learn and be entertained. Though, if it's original content like podcasts that you're truly into, well, Audible has you covered there. There are thousands of different podcasts available covering dozens of topics. Truly a never-ending treasure trove of content. I'd be remiss not to mention their tremendous Words Plus Music series as well, which I'd highly recommend looking into. There's tons of new stuff in there. As the temperatures finally start to go back up and the winter enters the rearview mirror, I decided to check out Summer in Argyle, entirely due to the name. As it turns out, it was more so about enjoying the story of a bunch of hot dogs and an Ohio town's origin, as opposed to gearing up for the heat that is coming soon. But I think I like what I got more than what I was looking for. If you want to look into that hilarious comedy too, and so many other bits of content, then go over to audible.com/MysticUmbreon, or text Mystic Umbreon to 500-500, and get yourself access to a free trial of Audible. Thanks again to Audible for sponsoring this video. And now, onto the list. So we're gonna get this list kicked off with the 10th strongest dragon type, Gudra. Now, like I was saying in the intro, there will not be any representation from Hisui on this list. There are too many question marks for me to bring them in officially on this list, but we know at the very least that Hisui and Zoroark will be in Scarlet and Violet, so surely there will be more of them making an appearance. However, enough about that. Let's talk about this Kalusian dragon. So, Gudra is a fan favorite among many, being a specially defensive wall with a really nice move pool. It's a great assault vest user due to its 150 base special defense, and quite frankly, all 3 abilities it has are able to put in some sort of work. As I mentioned prior, it has a pretty loaded move pool, and with 100 in attack and 110 in special attack, it most certainly is capable of hitting hard. We've got moves like Earthquake, Outrage, and Sludge Wave, among a litany of other miscellaneous coverage moves. What caused Gudra to open the list today is simply the fact that there are 9 more Pokemon that are better than it. We've come a long way in this franchise when it comes to building up this dragon typing. And when something as good as Gudra is only able to open up a top 10, well, you know we've got a powerful, dominant list to go over. Next up, we've got one of the newest Dragon-type Pokemon, the Steel Dragon-type, Daralodon. It's a Pokemon you may have thought you never needed, but as it turns out, in a world with fairy Pokemon running rampant, it is a useful one for a playthrough. Also, don't go typing too fast down there in the comments. I know Dialga exists. We're talking non-legendaries here too. And aside from Hisui and Gudra, Daralodon is the only one of this type. You want something that can pressure fairy types in battle, and a steel type is usually the best way to go about that. Its base 120 special attack is really solid, and 115 defense is a nice thing to rock out with as well. Perhaps most interesting is the base 85 speed, as this very easily could have been a Pokemon with horrible speed being a Steel type. Its abilities, perhaps now, don't mean a whole lot. But early into the VGC life of Sword and Shield, that Stalwart ability did hold some weight. As for its moves, it's the usual. Stab, like Flash Cannon and Dragon Pulse, and a little coverage in physical and special moves with Thunderbolt, Stone Edge, and Dark Pulse. It ended up ahead of Gudra thanks to its Steel typing, but Daralodon, even then, is still solid. We move on next to Kindra, a beloved dragon type from the second generation, that for a long time felt like one of the best dragon types prior to fairy types coming in. You guys probably know what really makes Kindra a beast in battle, but I'll go over it anyway, that Swift Swim ability. Its speed is doubled to a potentially massive amount, which allows it to outspeed a majority of Pokemon in normal battle. And it's even better if paired with a Drizzle Pokemon out in a double battle. I don't normally focus on doubles when I make these lists, but I felt it was really important to bring it up here. If you don't find yourself in a position to make use of Drizzle though, its Sniper ability is a pretty great one too. It ups the power of critical hits, so if you can get one off with certain moves, they'll be hitting real hard. It's got Draco Meteor, Surf, Hurricane, and Ice Beam in its pull if you want to focus on making it a special attacker. And of course, if you want to go physical, you can go Liquidation, Outrage, and Iron Head on top of setting up with Dragon Dance. Plus, thanks to the Isle of Armor tutor moves, you can even run Flip Turn on this thing, which makes it even better of an option. Kindra, despite all that has changed in the metagame, has been able to evolve alongside it and keep itself relevant up to this point. And as a Johto fan, I really love to see it. So we've got another Galarian Pokemon coming here on the list, the second one thus far. I think it's worth noting that up to this point, none of these Pokemon were on our original list that featured legendaries. It's nice to give some of these Pokemon the spotlight, and in particular, I'm glad I get to talk about Dracozolt here at number 7. It's obviously very overshadowed by Dracovish, and with good reason. For one, while they're very similar Pokemon, the ground typing makes it very difficult for Dracozolt to always get going in battle. It can't use Bolt Beak against them, and obviously a well-placed Earthquake is going to hurt majorly. However, that's only when dealing with ground types. When you're not dealing with them, Dracozolt turns into an absolute cannon that very well could be as worrisome as Dracovish is. It's really unfortunate as it doesn't have Strong Jaw, but it still causes big damage with Bolt Beak if you're able to start outspeeding opposing Pokemon. There's not much else super special about Dracozolt other than the idea of running a Choice Scarf with that move. But again, it's held back here to only this position due to its major move being completely unstable against a popular typing. So we finally have arrived at a Pokemon that was on our previous list, Salamance. It was in the number 5 spot last time, and obviously has been muscled out of that position this time. We were able to discuss its Mega Evolution back then, because at the time, it had no appearance in the 8th generation at all. Since we cannot talk about the Mega though, Salamance is no longer the top dog among non-legendary dragons. However, there is no shame in closing out the first half of the list, as Salamance is still really good. It actually got a great boost in BDSP, funny enough. The coverage in those games plays super well into making it a Specs or Scarf user, putting that 110 special attack or 100 speed at the forefront. That isn't worth discounting the physical attack being a wonderful 135 though. When it comes to using it in battles in Sword and Shield though, it's nice to just toss the heavy duty boots on and trust in Defog and Dragon Dance for a supportive monster. It's not exactly the same as having Aerialate in just an absolutely destructive Mega, but Salamance is still good enough to appear on this list and hold a place on many competitive teams with its coverage and build options. Alright, we're kicking off the top 5 with a Pokemon that actually wasn't on the original list, though with good reason. It wasn't good enough to make an appearance based solely off of its 7th generation accolades with the legendaries involved. However, now, Dragonite can stand amongst its peers as one of the top 5 best of the dragon typing once more. It boasts one of the best abilities in all of Pokemon with Multiscale, which absolutely nerfs attacks majorly when Dragonite has full health. If you want to run Roost alongside D-Dance, Substitute, and an offensive move of your choice, it's looking pretty good for you in a battle. If you're out here wanting to run an Assault Vest on this thing, and just do some wild stuff in battle in Sword and Shield, you're plenty able to do that too with Earthquake or Outrage, even Hurricane if you're feeling frisky. Dragonite has a new lease on life with the 8th generation that put it right back where it belongs, and I'm pretty happy I got to talk about it in the top 5. Let us move on to the Great Kamoto next on our list. This was Alola's addition to the pseudo-legendary pool, and judging by its appearance here in the top 5, it was a pretty good one. I'd go as far as to say, among all dragon types, it's really the most versatile in a way. It can kind of do anything you want relatively well. It's in fact a jack of all trades, but a master of none. It's able to be set up through multiple different ways, whether that be with Dragon Dance and Automize or otherwise. Its best move is probably clanging scales to pair up the setup. And on top of that, using Throat Spray on this thing can give you a very threatening dragon out in battle. Though if you want, you can make this thing a defensive mon and you're still set. If you just want to run Iron Defense and then pull out Body Press, it very well could be a wrap. I'll throw the stats up on screen, but after I pointed out everything well this thing can do, I guess it sells that idea even more now that you know exactly its allocations. Kamoto is easily one of the best pseudo-legendary Pokemon, but even then, we're gonna see a few more coming up shortly. Wow, how things have changed here for our 3rd place Pokemon. The original list saw this one come in at number 10, but with more knowledge and better competitive builds out there, it's safe to say now that it's for sure at the absolute top of this typing. Dracovish is a king out there in battle, with a tremendous combo of Vicious Rend and Strong Jaw, playing well with a well-developed speed stat or just a Choice Scarf. Why, if put in a position where Dracovish can just get something out of Sand Rush, running a band with Vicious Rend is just as good of a play out in battle. You get Stab, plus a boost from going first, plus the attack stat boost from the band? I gotta say, Vicious Rend is downright one of the most broken moves we have ever seen in this franchise. I'm not even going to keep going on this one. That move and the few options I gave for using it are enough to put Dracovish over the edge. It's one of the best Pokemon in Galar, and one of the best of all time dragon types. The penultimate spot now comes on our list, and this one could surprise a lot of you. Garchomp isn't taking the top spot today, instead serving as the runner-up. It's an absolute king of the dragon types, and it's almost unfortunate not to put it at number 1. It's for sure the best dragon in BDSP when we discount some legendaries, whether that be due to a lack of dragons or otherwise. However, even in Sword and Shield, the argument is there for it to be the best as well. You can ask it to serve as a defensive option with Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin while still heading like a truck. Or you can invest everything in making it the best physical attacker it can be. It can also just sweep with Swords Dance, being tasked with setting up the physical attack, and then moves like Earthquake, Iron Head, and Outrage, leaving a cavalcade of coverage. There's a dozen different ways you can run Garchomp to be successful and competitive. And as a bit of a shameless plug, I so happen to do a video about how well it does in game, so you should definitely go check that out. Alright, we're finally at the final spot of the list. The best non-legendary dragon-type Pokemon in the franchise as of right now is Dragapult. I'm so happy it came out on top when I reevaluated everything for this list, as it is definitely one of my favorite 8th generation Pokemon. It edged out Garchomp due to its ability to work as both a physical and special attacker to a seriously successful degree. Its 142 speed is also just game-breaking, meaning it's more than capable of outspeeding basically anything in any battle. It's got a lot of coverage on the special side, which is where it's stronger. But also as a physical attacker, it can run some nice utility moves like U-turn, meaning it's got a nice way in and out of battle. That Infiltrator ability plays pretty damn well too, folks. You can build Dragapult however you want, and it'll easily be able to lead any OU team, even in some instances an Uber's one as well. I love this thing, and I look forward to talking about it again on the Ghost list. That's it for the first video in this all-new series. We've gone over the best of the dragons, but now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think are the best dragons? Did I get any of these wrong? Perhaps I left something off? Also be sure to let me know what the next typing you'd like to see covered in this series should be. I'll leave it to you, folks. Welcome back to the outro, folks, your favorite part of the video. Thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. We made it through the end of the 8th generation, and now we begin the long trek into late 2022 where Pokemon Scarlet and Violet await us. It's a whole new world we'll live in, but we still gotta catch them all. However, there's still a ton of videos to do and experiences to have until then. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and the Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. If we get the 10k followers on TikTok, I'll be doing a viewer's choice video. If you like Genshin Impact, check out my Genshin channel Tevachinary. So if you all enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. See you next time.